Right. Once again, let's officially start. And I get a quick okay with everybody. A very, very good evening or good afternoon, wherever you are. I know there are people in the Gulf, in Nigeria, and to my fellow people in India. This is a series we've been doing since last year in the pandemic. And thank you so much to see everybody in excited for the teacher session. The very idea of what we are trying to do of the teacher session is to make a series of programs around educators of the world and people who we have heard in a BEd, people who we have heard about, especially in like multiple intelligence theory. Who's Dr. Howard Gardner? Last week we spoke about John Holt, or who Sir Ken Robinson is. And hopefully, as you learn, you get acquainted with them. You will also be able to use them in the classroom, which is very important. And hopefully, as much as I interact with you, I learn from you as I do my research and my reading. It's just fun. So once again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being part of this session. And without any further ado, let's get started. The chats are open. Yes, everybody. So you can always message me in the chat. You can ask your questions in the chat, and hopefully, I would love to see your interactions, your participation. It makes a lot of difference when you all interact. Thank you so much, Veena ma'am and Sonali ma'am and Fatima ma'am. Each one of you, wherever you are. Yes, it is wonderful to have all of you. So while we've done a present, please, only request to each one of you would be keep your mics muted. Well, and rest of you, hopefully you can keep your chats on. You can listen to this conversation, you can ask questions, you can share your insights from what you learned from the, and this is what we'll be doing. So yes, the only request would be just keep your mics off and let's get started. It's a long session, and of course we will keep ourselves to that 1 hour time limit. And once I finish, I'll also share a link where whatever we have learned today, we'll quickly solve a small questionnaire. It's a multiple choice questionnaire, and that also helps you earn your certificate of Bloom's taxonomy. In today's world, I always recommend the teachers. I'll be doing a session also on how do you tell the world about your resume. And one of the biggest and best platform is LinkedIn. So always when when you get your certificate, when you attend a workshop, go to your resume on LinkedIn, add on the certificates, tell the world about it, let people congratulate you. Once in a while, a little pat on the back is always nice, and it will help all of us grow as educators. Fair enough. So before I go, we'll do a KWL, what you know, what you want to know, and what you will learn today. Any idea on what is Bloom's taxonomy? I mean, it's a very, very big question though, but I would rather make a question more easier. Where have you last spoken or learned about Bloom's taxonomy? So just let me know. You heard a session on it, or a Coursera course, or in your degree courses that you've done. Where have you heard about Bloom's taxonomy?
So when I was pursuing BEd.
All right, thank you so much. So in your BEd, so everyone's an educator here, right? Some of you are listening for the first time. Fair enough. I mean, it's a wonderful program, and thank you so much for attending a teacher session that I did. Okay, that's very, very humbling and good to know. Right. We will learn about Bloom's taxonomy. One of the best message I got today was from Nagma Sheikh ma'am. She's an educator in Mumbai. She's also an author of several programs and books, especially English as a language. And she says Cambridge CAIE, the Cambridge assessment exams, they follow the Bloom's pattern. So they look at the Bloom's pattern and then they prepare the question paper. And that is the objective of today's session. How do we make our assessments? It's already March, and hopefully most of you as teachers will be preparing your exam papers. How to use the taxonomy and prepare our exams? That's the whole idea. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Learning designs on Bloom taxonomy, that'll be interesting. So here we are. We promise you three things. So we will scale the triangle, the Everest of taxonomy. We'll also, what I just said about, we'll solve the exam paper. How do you make your questions around Bloom? And we'll talk about few new terms. In fact, there are two terms I'm going to introduce today: hots and lots, which is something that we have heard a lot about it. What are hots? What are lots? And where do you apply them? And also, we will look at the difference between acronym and mnemonics. Last week, if I remember right, I asked you a question about difference between curriculum and syllabus, and most of you did get it confused. So every time we'll speak something new, some kind of differences, which is acronym and mnemonics are not part of Bloom's taxonomy, but hopefully you'll learn something new as we go ahead. So there you are. Oh, by the way, that handsome person is me, unless except my wife who doesn't agree to it. but fair enough. You have to bear with me for the next 1 hour. Also in this teachers workshop, we will be aligning a lot of theory with practice. Why do we need a lot of theory? You see, at times I always wonder if, as teachers, when a parent comes and questions you, and I've said that in many of the teachers training workshop, you must know your concepts very well. It's like anyone who has flown few times, they cannot become a pilot. Unfortunately, in education, any parent who attends a few workshop or who sees the child learning thinks they can also teach a child, and which is not wrong. They can teach a child and encourage that, but sometimes they marginalize a teacher's role. And I think teachers are, along with doctors, corona warriors. They are COVID warriors. You've done amazing. If you know your keywords, if you know what a taxonomy means, if you know what a rubric means, if you know what a HOTS mean, if you know few of the terminologies, you become more confident of conveying your message to your audience, which is primarily your parents and your teachers. So this is why we'll combine the taxonomy with the theory and the practice. So I'm an old man, so I take up a lot of concepts which are 1960s and 1950s. So today we have taken a decade back. Bloom's taxonomy is not a new concept. This was rather proposed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956. I mean, that is almost 70 years, close to 70 years behind, right? So what we are looking at is Benjamin Bloom was not a single researcher. Unlike, say, John Holt or Ken Robinson or Howard Gardner, he had a team of people around him, and these were educational psychologists. They did not actually go ahead and invent a taxonomy for that matter. They wanted to classify how children learn. It's okay, absolutely fine, as long as you're joining in at that time. So what he did, Benjamin Bloom, he started with a proper taxonomy. So let's come to the key word, what taxonomy means. Technically, taxonomy is classification. And today I'll also teach you what a classification means. In the word of education, if I classify you according to the intellectual behavior, basically how you learn, that is what taxonomy is. I mean, when I studied this for the first time, I realized all my school teachers always were using the taxonomy in the classroom all the time. We were always classified as first benchers, middle benchers, and last benchers. I don't know which kind of bench were you in, but we were the outstanding student. We were none of the three taxonomy levels in a school. We were the students who were always outside the class. We were outstanding students right there. So, as teachers, you always were doing taxonomy. You were dividing the students, but how about intellectual division? How about dividing the students based on how you think, what you learn, what can you articulate? A smiley at this time would be nice if you understand what I just said, but if you didn't, it's absolutely okay. Taxonomy basically is a division according to intellectual behavior for learning. So when you are learning something, how you divide your students is what taxonomy is. Still confused? Let's make it a little easier example. Here, if taxonomy is still taxing, these are two cats, a big and a small cat. How would you divide them? All the naturalist learner from MI theory, all those who love animals out there, give me a shout out and say yes, right? How do I divide these? Essentially, it's just the size that makes a difference. Both of them are cats. So that's what taxonomy does. Taxonomy divides, categorizes creatures, species, and that's the original word taxonomy comes from. Biologists are the ones. Charles Darwin would be very happy when you look at taxonomy. And as teachers, we take clues. One of the best profession is teachers, because you can learn from an astronaut and a scientist and an engineer and an entrepreneur. So we have borrowed the concept taxonomy from biologists. Fair enough? Can anybody give me two major differences between these two creatures? Absolutely, Ayyar sir. It is the scheme to classify. So as long as I would always insist on a particular topic. So you should know what a taxonomy is, and it should not be too taxing before we go on and do a. So today I've divided my program into two very simple parts. The first part, okay, thank you so much, ma'am, all the way from Abuja, right? So one is skin and size, all right? So tigers have a very specified skin, the sizes. Saima ma'am says perfectly. One is a wild creature, another is a pet. The characteristics, one, yes, both of you right, Kanta ma'am and Zenith ma'am. So one can stay at home, other cannot stay home. I don't know if you watched a Netflix documentary on tigers as pets. Okay, I like what you said, Ayyar sir. One roars and one purrs. Basically, Ayyar sir, it's a difference between a married man and not a married man, right? When you're not married, you roar. After you marry, you purr or you meow. So that's what a taxonomy is all about. Yes, food type can also be very fair enough. Yes, food habits. So this is how you define or you characterize a family. So the cats, both the cats belong to the main group, which we call the felids or the feline, right? For example, dogs are canine. What's the word for the horses, please? Just a quick GK knowledge here, all teachers. So if feline is for cats and canine is for dogs, and canine will include the wolves, the hyenas, the normal dogs or the huskies. What's the word for the horses? Come on, teachers. All right, close to it. Somebody messaged me equus. Yes, sir. So it is equine. All right, just a little trivia, FYI, you should know. So this is what taxonomy is. You have a main category and then you divide it. Same ways, there's 7 big cats. If anybody were to get confused, Make in India is our campaign, but tiger, the Royal Bengal tiger, is India's national animal, right? So there are 7 species of tigers. There is a Bengal tiger, there is a Malaysian tiger, there is a Thai tiger, a Chinese tiger, Sumatran, Indonesian tiger. So you have different categories, but essentially that's how a taxonomy is. And cats, anyway, there are too many cats to describe, but what I do know are the Persian cats, and they're very cute ones, by the way. So this is the categorization of what taxonomy is. Simple word, this is a taxonomy. So I hope you understand what a taxonomy is before I go and explain what Mr. Benjamin Bloom wanted. But same way, if I were to describe a child's intelligence, or if I were to ask you a question, and taxonomy essentially is to help you frame learners' assessment. Taxonomy is essentially an exam work, right? And which is why we are doing it now, because March is the right time. You must have finished your FAs, the formative assessment, and we will do a Robert Marzano's FA and essay, how we'll do in one of the sessions. But essay summative assessment is based on this taxonomy. So this is what a cat says: the feline animal, the kingdom is animal, the class is mammal, the order is carnivorous, but the genus is feline, and that is what a taxonomy is. Too much into cats and animals, that's what Benjamin Bloom found out. Benjamin Bloom found out that 95% of a test, and imagine this was 1965, बहुत कुछ बदला नहीं है, I'm sorry, not many things have changed. Our education system sucked then. Hopefully with NEP we are becoming better, but the onus is on us as educators. How do we make it better? So 95%, the students test always were at a lower level, which is what I call the LOTS. I don't call it, it's a term we use and we're explaining that. LOTS, lower order thinking skill. If I do not know how to ask better questions, I cannot frame better questions, right? So that is why he framed the taxonomy, and the taxonomy will help you how you make your questions better. Essentially, when the research started, they had 3 domains of learning. Sorry, this is a bit of theory. Once we get into practical, you'll have fun framing questions. But the 3 domains of learning were cognitive. If you are confused with the word cognitive, it comes from the English word cognition. CTS, if anybody in India knows the company, CTS, Cognizant Technology Solution. Cognizant means to know, right? So Bloom's taxonomy, the 6 levels of Bloom's are based on this cognizant technology, right? So this is cognitive or cognizant technology that we're talking about. Let me just write it for you just to make it easier, right? So that is cognition. Anything to do with memory, anything to do with mind is cognition. He also said there is another way of learning called effective learning. Effective learning is basically all about the heart, emotions. And hopefully at some point in the next time, yes, thank you, ma'am, Kanta ma'am, it's all about the heart. And it's all about the Shah Rukh Khan kind of heroes. And I think when I say this hero's name, everybody in the world knows it. It does not matter if you're in Bangladesh, Australia, or Nigeria. If you don't know Shah Rukh Khan, this is an educator, you should know, right? It is to do with emotions. And one of the great work that has happened in the EQ level is by Daniel Goleman. We'll speak about him in some session about the EQ part of it. Psychomotor is to do with kinesthetic learning. All right, yes, absolutely, Shiva sir, there you are, learning by doing. And I think I can see all the B.Ed knowledge coming out, and I'm happy about it. So 3 domains: the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor. What is the Bloom's taxonomy based on? Cognitive. What are the emotions based on? Affective. If I have to train a sports athlete, it is based on psychomotor. Fair enough. So these are the three domains of learning. These are the three areas where Bloom had a lot of work with. Unfortunately, there was not enough work done on the first two part, but cognitive domain, he did a lot of work, and that is what we are going to talk to about it. So today we are going to talk about, okay, pragmatism approach. Javed sir, that's a big word. I'll have to learn what you're talking about, but we'll analyze Bloom in a simple classroom structure. Come to the meat of a conversation, our main topic, and we are just into the first part of it, 6 levels of Bloom. And hopefully, if I were to do the storytelling with you, the quiz with you, you will understand the 6 levels of Bloom. My goal today is for you to memorize the 6 levels, not necessarily rote learning, which is the lowest level. Lots. Hopefully, you will learn the 6 Blooms the way you learn. How do you learn the planets, the 9 planets, if you include Pluto, right? Something which is fun, something that makes it easy. But these are the 6 level. You start with the knowledge level. Anything FYI, any information, when you Google something, you're only doing the lowest level, which is knowledge. Comprehension, you understand something, you apply that knowledge, you analyze it. When you watch a YouTube video, by the way, you are going to the higher levels of learning, into synthesis and evaluation. So when you're doing a basic Google search, you are at the knowledge level. When you are using the Google search to make your research paper, maybe the analysis, right? Thank you. I can see the planets, mnemonics, as I call it, and I'll come to the mnemonics also. But when you're making a video, you are at the higher level at synthesis and evaluation. Some people have changed this. The original terms that Mr. Bloom gave had what I just told you. Some people came up and said, no, 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 evaluation has to come down and creating has to go up. Irrespective, does not matter. We will stick to the original Bloom, because the fashion has come back. You still want the bell bottom jeans and you still want the faded ones. So we will go back to what Benjamin Bloom came up with, the very idea of the triangle, which is this. So this is, you can take a screenshot of what I'm sharing with you. You have this photo always there on the Google, and this presentation, as I always say, email me and the presentation is yours. The Bloom's taxonomy are these 6 levels. Very simple. The first 2 level, if you see, I've written the word LOTS, lots, lower order thinking skill. When you don't have to apply too much of your mind. When a teacher says, keep quiet and study, a teacher is using the lots theory. Very simple. Most of us, because we don't want to apply a lot of effort, we always go to lots. And the lots part is knowledge and comprehension. If I were to ask you, what's your name? You don't have to think too much, right? Right? It is knowledge level. If I ask you, what's the meaning of your name? It's a basic one. You're going to a little higher level, comprehension level. Do you understand the meaning of your name? But then, why did your parents choose your name? That's applying the knowledge. Why can also be analyzing it. So I'm going to a higher order thinking skill. I'm going to next 2 domain. The first 2 domain, they're called lots. Lower order thinking skill, knowledge and comprehension. That's it. You asked me something, I gave a straightforward answer. I didn't have to do too much about it. But then, when were you named? Or, do you think your name has anything to do with the way your parents wanted a particular child? So there you are. This is applying. Why were you named what you were named is analyzing. You're going the second rung of Bloom's table, which is a higher order thinking skill. Yes, Sumaya ma'am, I can see that. That's what you wrote down. HOTS is HOTS, right? Lots, as the word says, is too many. Today, our exam papers are filled with lots, too many of lots question. It is actually degrading an exam paper. So we go a little higher, and then we say, we'll evaluate and synthesize. How does evaluation help us? Taking the same example of your name. Well, if I were to ask you, how does your name bear an effect on your personality, right? So now you are evaluating your name, isn't it? You are looking at your name and saying, all right, I get this question too much, with a name like Dawood living in Mumbai, I get a question, all right. I said, look, I am named from David, a biblical figure, and nothing to do with anyone else. But then, how, sometimes we become too critical of ourselves. Sometimes we become very, very negative, and people, you don't have the ability to laugh at yourself. Evaluation will teach you that. And synthesis is, does this have any personality effect? Or perhaps, yes, David was a very strong shepherd boy who fought with Goliath. Yeah, right. So there is a beautiful book by David on David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell, another of my favorite author. And I start analyzing, I start understanding what my name could mean, and that are the triangle theory. That's what a triangle theory says, isn't it? So you go to a lower level, knowledge and comprehension. You go a little higher, applying and analyzing. Now you have to start making yourself think. It's not a Google search, but then you need an external source for evaluating and synthesizing. So, simple terms, that's what Bloom's taxonomy is. If you learn nothing from today and only what I said on this particular slide, you'll learn about Bloom's taxonomy. On this, I must thank a very dear friend of mine, Bharti. We were doing, IGNO together. She said, Daud, where were you 2 years back when we were doing our MA education together? I got stuck on Bloom's taxonomy. So, Bharti, this is for you, right? A very dear friend. Hopefully, this time others will not get stuck on a Bloom's taxonomy. These are the 6 levels of what Bloom is all about. Another example, because examples are what we really want to do. Look at this apple as an example. What is an apple? It's simple concept. It's a fruit. It is typically spherical or close to that in shape, right? It is red in color primarily, right? So you are looking at an apple, which is knowledge. Comprehension. Do you know how an apple grows? Oh, that's well. Apple grows like a pineapple or a watermelon or on a branch of a tree. So you are understanding. That's comprehension. What are the uses of an apple? Oh, I can make an apple pie. I don't know if you love apple pie or not, but my wife makes awful apple pies. Well, she's part of the session, by the way, right? So this is application, apple pie. How do you use an apple? Fourth, can you compare the apple? Oh, let me give you a question right now. Synthesis, okay? Synthesis. Do you know any stories that have apple into it? Come on, go ahead. Give me at least 3 stories with apple into it or 3 anecdotes with apple into it. You need an external information, right? So here you are. Oh, thank you so much, Ashraf, sir. It's Newton and the gravity. You can write it down to the group. You're right, sir. So that's the first word that comes to your mind. Adam and Eve, absolutely fine. The biblical story of Eve making, Women's Day was yesterday. So I would not blame Eve for everything. But yes, that's a story we got. Thank you so much, Saima ma'am. The Snow White, the apple, the poison apple she wore. Right, Javed sir, how can you forget Steve Jobs and iPhone? So we got it. So Maya ma'am, you're right. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Unless you're married to the doctor, it will not help you. Absolutely wonderful. Yes, Shivasa, I just got that apple a day. And I love the emoticon you put it on Apple. You get a bonus point. You just did a synthesis. You use the concept of apple and you add it to this, isn't it? You use a Newton's apple, a Steve Jobs apple, Adams and Eve apple, Snow White's apple, which I loved, by the way, and the maxim or the proverb, apple a day or apple never. Oh, Shabana ma'am, she's a science teacher, so I'll accept that. Apple never falls from tree. Go tell that to Mr. Newton, because the world starts believing in myths, by the way, right? So great. Okay, never falls far from the tree. That's interesting. So what you just did is you are evaluating it. By the way, when I say evaluation, how many types of apple do you know? I'm sure, as Indians, we're very proud of certain apples. Where are the apples that you get? No, I want the names of the apples. Journal names of the apple. Yes, you've got Kashmiri apples, absolutely. Ashraf sir, right? Ayyar sir, how can you not say that? From Himachal apples, okay, we'll have an evaluation. Which apples are better? The ones that grow in Himachal or the ones that grow in Jammu and Kashmir? Absolutely, the Washington apple. And all those who live in the Gulf, you know more about Washington apple, but there you are. The European apple, I've never eaten a European apple, but anyway, you understand your Bloom's taxonomy that way. And I'm glad the idea of doing this whole workshop is you go back smiling. Yes, there are New Zealand apples, by the way, but I know kiwi is more better. I've never eaten a Turkish apple, Altamash, but there we are. How do I remember it? So I'm teaching you a new concept again. The difference between mnemonics and acronyms, right? Okay. Okay, Ayarsa says Georgian apples are the best. I'm leaving apple behind, right? Let's go out and let's learn a mnemonic. This is a mnemonic I created. What's a mnemonic? Mnemonic is like a sentence for you to remember something. Somebody wrote earlier, my very dear mother, please show us just show us the 9 planets, which is a mnemonic for learning the 9 planets. That's how it is. So the mnemonic for you to remember Bloom's taxonomy, and you can choose any mnemonic for that matter, is this simple one. Is a mnemonic does not need to make sense. The more funnier, the more stupid mnemonic is, it's easier to that. Yes, you learn your periodic table using mnemonics. You learn the precedence of United States. I wonder why we always say US. Why can't we learn Indian precedents for the matter? Yes, Sumaya ma'am, Vibgyo, I'll come to Vibgyo. So the difference between a mnemonic and an acronym is Vibgyo is an acronym. When you take the first letters and make a word in itself, that's a Vibgyo. Right, Sonali ma'am, what is that? Some people have curly brown hair. Please tell me what is the mnemonic for. I learned something new. The trigonometric ratios, sine, cos, and theta. Oh, there you are. I've got some really smart maths teachers out there. Thank you for reminding me of all the calculus problems. SARC is an acronym, Rabia ma'am. So you're getting it right. Let me come back quickly to my mnemonic. Right? Kangaroo cause Antarctica, Australia sail to Europe. Does not make sense, but you remember, oh, I've got two A's, Antarctica and Australia, which are applying an analysis. So application analysis easy. Kangaroo, there's a big animal you understand, and Australia comes in because kangaroo is there. Just kangaroo stands for, well, I can see that. By the way, I'm just trying to think of it. Knowledge, C is for comprehension, Australia and Antarctica, sail, S for synthesis, two is just like to make you remember, and Europe. You know, I like that, Fatima ma'am. LORD, left side, always oxygenated blood, is a brilliant acronym for anybody who wants to study the cardiac system. And this is wonderful. I know what teachers are now. So the cognitive domain says this is what mnemonics are. You know, since I've told a lot about the cats, killing cats almost always seems evil. Another mnemonic that this I picked up from the internet. It's knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Simple. Fatima ma'am, this is a brilliant one. I wish you can just share that in the group. Also share it with me and I'll put it in the group. It's one wonderful one. You hopefully remember the 6 Bloom's triangle using any of the mnemonic. Either you make it or the ones that you can take it. It could be the Australian kangaroo one, or killing cats almost always seems evil. But the idea is you remember the Bloom's one. If you think mnemonics are too long, let me go to the acronym. Well, I went to another creature from Australia, the koala, and I just spelled the koala a little differently. So please excuse me, I'm taking a lot of experimentations right now. But what I'm teaching you right now, what I'm really teaching you right now is I am teaching you the higher order thinking skill. We are synthesizing Bloom's taxonomy. You know, it does not matter if you remember kangaroo or koala. What matters is how you make a subject interesting for your students. You just create things. You know, I'm taking an animal learner, love the Bloom's taxonomy. Oh, thank you so much. I like Javed say if you put it in the group, Nana Patekar, Asrani, Sab Bimar, group 15, period table, he write, you know, for those Indian actors, you know them, or laser is an acronym. So clause, the way cola is spelled, is also an acronym for knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Some of you wrote in a direct message, sir, you don't need mnemonic. By the time you have repeated it so many times, I already have memorized it. I'm glad if you have memorized it, and thank you for messaging that. I take it as a compliment. Right. Let's apply Bloom's taxonomy. Let's make use of the Bloom's taxonomy. I spoke about kangaroo and koalas, and I'm an SDG activist, something I take a lot of pride in. So there is an SDG goal, climate change, goal number 13, life on land, goal number 15. Last year, there was a huge bushfire in Australia. Imagine you are a social studies teacher, primarily a geography teacher, and you have to teach about this bushfire in Australia using the Bloom's taxonomy. So let's take a practical example of what a Bloom's taxonomy can do. So here is, you know, we will do our own taxonomy, and keep your messages on. Thank you so much for writing down and making sure that you are awake and aware with me. And we're almost done half an hour of a session today, another half an hour left. So this is a ready-made template I'm giving you on how do you apply a Bloom's taxonomy. Let's go ahead. Let's quickly do it. Right. So your current theme is the Australian bushfire. How do you teach your children and make them resolve the greater climate change that is this causing? So my taxonomy says knowledge. Simple question, very rhetorical, nothing to do with nothing to do with high order thinking skill. Is the question, where is the bushfire, or where was the bushfire, by the way? And you write down Australia. As simple as that. Maybe you want to make it a little more detailed. Which cities were covered into it? List, the word LIST, list, is also from the low order thinking skill. List the bushfire, and that is what we're talking about. If I have to go a little higher and make it into comprehension, so I say describe the, you see the words I have highlighted in red, the bold ones are the key words for you to become a better taxonomist, a better one who prepares the question. So comprehension would be describe the fire. Simple. A description of the fire would be what you're talking about. Application would be determine how the bushfire is impacting the people around. Very simple. So you are now using an application, something very simple. Now you have to understand what impact the bushfire had on the people of Australia. So now the question is a little more detailed. A child can memorize where the bushfire is. He can just list the names, but when it has to determine, there has to be certain understanding of it. So you need to apply. As I go a little higher, I push a child, and my question changes to compare. Compare the implications on Australian wildlife. So you should know about the koala, you should know about the kangaroo, you should know that actually the bushfire almost made the koalas endangered, and sometime it might lead to the extinction of a species. Australia has some amazing animals which no other creature, no other continent in the world has, and one of them is a koala. A koala is a marsupial. That means it carries the babies in the pouch, like the kangaroo. There is a wallaby. There is a wombat. So just analysis means you have to write about these animals. You have to write about what happened to them, and you might be writing about the impact it has, and for that you need to know the animals. So you're taking a little deeper. It's like now becoming a Mahendra Singh Dhoni. You are taking the equation little further. He does not want to finish a 2020 game at 15 overs. He wants to take it to the 19th over, to the 19.5 overs. And that is where synthesis comes in. Synthesis is a question like rewrite. Rewrite how the bushfire impacted or affected the people and changed their lives. Now, you should know how it happened. You must have watched the news. As a teacher, you're teaching something that Australians have become more concerned. By the way, this was human greed. This bushfire was an impact of our greed on the environment. So you should know that. And finally, you are doing an evaluation, which is debate. Debate whether we as humans are responsible about this. And it could be anything. Are we responsible about the extinction of the species? Are we responsible about the coral reef in Australia, the Great Barrier Reef? Suddenly you're using a social studies example, but using Bloom's, suddenly you're not just doing surface knowledge, you're going deeper. There is an amazing book for all those who love self-help book. There's a book called Deep Work. A friend of mine from Bhopal, an IB school, he gifted this book to me, and I'm really thankful to him. Deep Work talks about the idea that don't just be a teacher. This is by one of my favorite author. Every author I say is my favorite, right? Called Deep Work by Carl Newport. He says, when you are a teacher, let's say you are a science teacher, don't just go superficial on science. Learn how to do experiment. Go ahead and do a course from Coursera. Go get a degree from Tata Institute of Social Science. Think science. When you open up the stuff and look at the flames in it, I know you don't have too much time of it. Think science into it. That is what deep work is about. And Bloom's taxonomy, my friends, will really give you that tool to go deeper into a subject. Well, we had a lot of serious conversation. So let me give you the summary again. You can take a screenshot of what Bloom's taxonomy is. Very simple version of what Bloom's is. Knowledge is recall of facts. Comprehension is understanding what was read to you. Application is converting abstract themes to concrete situations. I'm just reading it out for you because we will do this in the game that I'm going to play with you. Analysis is comparing and contrasting two experiences, your personal maybe. Synthesis is organizing the thoughts and information from the content. And evaluation is putting your own reflections on whatever you learned. So this is the comprehensive Bloom's taxonomy to you. Too deep? So this is higher order thinking. Too easy? This is lower order thinking. So this orange, again, take a screenshot of it. And please, I keep telling you, all these slides are yours. I love to share. All you have to do is make an effort to drop me an email and I'll share that in the end. When you use these words will help you make the questions. So example, if I have to make a question on synthesis, and I don't know how do I make a synthesis question, just go to the word create. Another word for synthesis is the word create. And there is a word called compose or design. And I just use the word design. Design how the story have impacted you in your personal life. Or, imagine you are somebody, running SpaceX instead of Elon Musk. The moment the words come in, moment the keywords come to you, you can frame the questions. This is what Bloom's taxonomy is doing, right? Let me make it easier for you. How do I apply it in my personal life? As I said, too much of construct a model. Yes, Fatima ma'am, absolutely construct a model. And maybe I'll give you examples for you to understand. So you remember, first three are easy ones. Remembering, understanding, applying. The last three are together, almost at very similar level, one notch higher, one node higher. Well, you know, the other day when I was doing Bloom's taxonomy, somebody sent a message called Groom's taxonomy. And I said, okay, I must share this with my team. And the people who are understanding, how does a groom understand the taxonomy? Will help me better, right? And I said, all of you who want to understand what a groom's taxonomy is. So groom, basically a husband, and I'll make it easy for you. How does a husband understand? So, you know, at a lower level for a husband is to remember the anniversary date, right? All those who have forgotten the anniversary date knows what I'm talking about. You know, at a little comprehension stage is wishing her right. You have to make sure the right thing happens the right time. But most likely you've forgotten her anniversary. You've forgotten your anniversary, by the way, right? So now you have an applying stage. Remember, I said personal experiences. How do you make up with the flowers? Maybe a bunch of roses will not do. You might have to get some other daisies and lilies along with it. So that's a little higher level. Oh, well, you need to now analyze how a mood is, but that will come to a little level, going to the right restaurant. Or are you going to, what is the Chinese restaurant? I forgot about it. There is a very famous mainland China. Are you taking her to mainland China or Malwani restaurant there? You know, depending on what she likes. Is it fish or is it Chinese? You have to choose the right restaurant. It's application and analysis of the knowledge. But you know, the biggest problem in Bloom's is the level where you have to get a gift for her. Now that is an evaluation, because you can never be the prince who gets the rice slipper sandal for your wife, right? I don't know how many of you know your wife's numbers with the shoes you buy. The best thing is give her an Amazon voucher or take her, never buy the shoe for her. I have done that and it never works, right? And finally, understanding the mood when the anniversary goes haywire. You know, this is just a little jest understanding, a little lighter way of understanding what a groom's taxonomy is, but hopefully it still gives you the taxonomical framework from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and synthesizing. These are what Bloom's taxonomy is all about. We've done almost the entire theory part of it, and you've been very active, very proactive in helping me. Oh, thank you, Rajendra sir. I hope you've not forgotten the analysis. Oh, Jaya ma'am, oh, one of my favorite educators out here. And I think, you know, ma'am, I speak from experience, right? Having missed enough anniversary to understand what is the right mixture of mood and flowers. So right there. I don't know. I hope all the grooms out there and all the spouses out there take learning from Mr. Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy. You all been with me. We've done the entire theory part of it. Let's start framing questions based on Bloom's taxonomy. And I go back to one of the most popular stories about Goldilocks and the three bears, right? I hope everyone here knows the story of Goldilocks and the three bears. For those who might live in a different world, and if you don't know who Goldilocks is, I know, Sonali ma'am, I'm sure, you should be penalized for not knowing the story, but I'll still go ahead and tell you just a brief version of this lovely story. There was this very, very mischievous girl, I must say that, right? Goldilocks. And I don't know why girls are so mischievous, but we just celebrated the Women's Day, and I really, trust me, yes, Akila ma'am, please do that to your husband. So the story, yes, Smriti ma'am, but just going through, she goes to a wrong house. She does not knock. She goes in without permission, which is a bad girl and bad habit, by the way. And she starts experimenting with everything the bear have. There are three bears: the mama bear, the papa bear, and the baby bear. And she tries the porridge, and the papa bear's porridge is very hot. Mama bear's porridge is very cold, and the perfect porridge is the baby bear's, which she gulps down. Same thing with the chair. She breaks two chairs, but the younger one's chair is perfect. Same thing with the bed. She breaks, or she's not comfortable with the two beds, and she's perfectly sleeping until the bears find out. That's a story. That's a story. Imagine now, for a difference. Yes. Oh yes, Sonali ma'am. Shall we do the bride's taxonomy? We'll take it off air, right? My wife is right in front of me. I'll not do that. I dare do the bride's taxonomy. Now let's go to the story here, and the story is very simple. Let's make the Bloom's taxonomy questionnaire as an English teacher on Bloom's on this Goldilocks and the three bear. So here you are. Let's take the first one, the lower order thinking skill, the knowledge level. Knowledge is all about memorization. So you are recalling information. The mastery of the subject is in information, the dates, the events, the play. I'll give you the words, and you have to create the questions for me. Fair enough? It's a deal now. Here are the words, right? Name, arrange, any question that starts with these letters will be a knowledge-based question. And the ones I've highlighted in red are the ones you have to make questions on. So please go ahead and tell me a question based on the Bloom's taxonomy of the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Let's use the word name. What question comes to your mind? Name. Simple. Go ahead. Or you can start with what, how, but the word name should be there. Or you can start with the word name itself. Shall I help you with the first one? Or anyone wants to make an attempt? Oh, yes, absolutely, Nihaya ma'am. Yes, name the girl or name the protagonist, name the main character of the story. Absolutely simple. This is what we've been doing from donkey years in school. And that, oh, name the bear. Fatima ma'am, trust me, that's a higher order thinking skill, right? Name the girl in the story. Absolutely, Tasmia ma'am, and all of you. Fair enough, right? Oh, what's a fairy tale? What is a fairy tale? Would be a little difficult question, Habib sir, but name the story simple. List. What can we do with the word list here? List the mistakes made by Go. Oh, lovely. JMM, even your low order thinking questions are higher order to me. I really like the low order thinking question. Yes, Sonali ma'am, list the things which Goldilocks used or broke. That's a lovely question, by the way. Arrange, identify the bowel. Fair enough. Lovely. I think you all are real harsh on this little girl. She's not feeling too good about it, but your questions are right. Recall. Recall could be something very similar. Do you realize as long as you know the story, you can just memorize it and you have to. Zenat ma'am, name the list of all the fairy stories. If it's all of them, they're higher order. If it's within the framework, this is knowledge. So when you do a quiz, a fact, a definition, you are using the knowledge portion of it. I made 2 questions or 3 questions for you. And yes, Christina ma'am, absolutely wonderful. These are recall the order of chairs. Oh, I like the question, Smriti ma'am. That's actually a nice question. You all are good educators. Name the character, list the character, recall what she did in the forest. So simple. That is a higher order thinking skill, because that is actually an application question, right? The idea is because you are applying your personal experience. So fair enough. Let's go to high order. Let's go to second level, which is still my lots on comprehension. Comprehension is understanding. Did the student understand the story? Or did the student, as we call it in our framework, did you just mug up the story or did you understand something? So you're translating the knowledge into concepts, interpreting facts, comparing, contrasting, making them into groups. Let's see the quick questions. So my keywords could be, identify, describe, explain, express, locate, retell. Too many questions. Once the red ones are what we'll do. Use the word. Okay, what color hair did the girl have? I like that. I like that, Tasneem ma'am. Describe the hair color for Goldilocks. By the way, what's the answer? What's Goldilocks' hair color? Right? By the way, I'm sure most of you are aware of it. So that's a Latin word. Yes, Tasneem ma'am. Locks basically are your hairs and golden locks. So that's Goldilocks. Describe the bear's house. All right. Anam ma'am, that's actually good. Okay, Anamta ma'am, actually, right? That's a good question. So you're describing the house. Is it a wooden house? Anything that goes with your understanding of it would be wonderful. Can you go to the word retail? Simple retail and help me with the question, or describe what kind of girl Goldilocks was. Akila ma'am, she was just a girl like you and you were in school, very, very, very mischievous, and perhaps when the parents are not there, she's just going out of the house, right? Describe the feeling of Goldilocks. Monica ma'am, that's a little difficult question, but okay, might go to application, but it's good. Character sketch of the girl, right? We are not judgmental. Goldilocks is a wonderful girl. We're not judging her, but yes, identify the character in the story. Retell. Yes, Lubna ma'am, retell the story in your own words. So you realize now, when you have questions around these, you're still looking at the comprehension level. Now, taking a little pause here and making teachers realize that most of the time, when we use words like explain, express, identify, we feel very good about the questions we said. Unfortunately, we are still at a very lower order thinking skill. We are not pushing our children. The assessments could be recitation, summarizing, collection, explanation, show and tell. When we pre-primary, we do show and tell. That also is a lower order thinking skill. Well, the questions you already shared, so I'll put the questions that are probably these questions out there. Describe the color, retell the story. Very simple that you did. You already have done it. Now, let's go to a little higher order thinking skill, application. So now you are using the information of Goldilocks in a concrete situation. You're solving the problem using any skills right there. And let's take the words now. All right. So the key word I've taken here is apply, as the word application is. You can begin your question with the word how. Or you can use the word demonstrate, draw, employ, illustrate, operate, practice. I mean, look at the choice of words now. You know your words, your questions will be from. Let's take the word how. Let's apply the word how and make a question. How can you identify with the story? That's a great question. Yes, it requires a child to understand how could Goldilocks make up to the bear. Oh, that's a great question, Smriti ma'am. How do you say sorry to somebody after you wronged them? Fair enough. Nihaya ma'am says something. How do you react if someone breaks your thing? Very good. You know, you are not only teaching them about the story, you're teaching them about the emotion. Great question, by the way. All right, let's go a little ahead. Can you use the word draw? Prepare. Okay, I can see the word prepare out there, and prepare a flow chart, which is good. Okay, fantastic. That's a great question, by the way. How would you change the story if you were in the place of Goldilocks? That's a nice question. Draw. Yes, I like the word draw. Draw the character of Goldilocks or draw the route to the bear's house. Very interesting question. Draw the route to the bear's house is a wonderful question out there. How do you react when a stranger enters your house? I like these questions. Fair enough. Now, imagine if your child, what do we call them? Anybody, any idea when a question like that comes in your question paper? What's the first thing, that accusation that the teachers have? Out of the syllabus, right? This is why our high order thinking skill need to be better. When you prepare a question like that, most likely a parent will message you and say, ma'am, this is an out of the syllabus question. Trust me, we are not thinking outside the box. Think there is no box. Tasneem ma'am, I just said and you understood. Think there is no box. Come on, dabba hata dijiye. Remove the word boxes and go ahead. Fair enough. Prepare is also good enough. We're almost there. 10 more minutes, and I'm very particular to value your time. I like, oh yes, Jaya ma'am, draw the 3 chairs. Oh, I like that. You're drawing the 3 chairs, each size. Now, this is a great question for yes, grade 1 or 2 also. You are using 2 skills, right? They're sketching skills, and also they're understanding the skills of how competitive they are. Great, you can do that as well. You can teach it. So here are the same questions I can ask you. Well, how were the bears like real people? Well, that's a different question I thought I would ask you. Are the bears, well, a student now has to think for the answer. I like that. Give a different ending. Tasmia ma'am, hold on to that answer. We might use that for a different question. I like that question. If Goldilocks were to write an apology letter, she really would need a good English teacher, Nihaya ma'am, first of all, and I'm sure she will do a better job. Absolutely. So the draw, you can also use the word prepare as in making a PowerPoint presentation. So you're combining your ICT skills and word prepare could be used in a multiple way. But trust me, your questions are far more smarter, far more interesting than even I could put it. So did I skip a question? Okay. All right. Application, we are done. Let's go to analysis. Analysis, you're breaking it down, right? You are decoding what we just learned. You're also taking into cognition of patterns that come into it. So let's go to analysis with my questions. These are the words in analysis. Simple words: compare, calculate, categorize, contrast, and I've tried to put it in alphabetical order just to make it easier for you. Criticize, and who would not love to criticize Goldilocks? Let's use the word criticize and make some questions. Criticize whatever you like to criticize in the story, except the trainer today. Compare your condition with Goldilocks. That's nice. That's a good question, by the way. What would you compare yourself with? Is it the soup? Well, my comparison would be yes. The soup that was prepared yesterday in my house was really, really cold. Compare. I like that question, Shiva sir. Compare Red Riding Hood with Goldilocks. You actually taken a very interesting question. 2 different stories, 2 different girls in the forest, and I love the way you thought. Criticize the way she barged into the house. Who would not like to criticize Goldilocks, right? I like that. Anna ma'am, Shushma ma'am says analyze. Okay, there's a question. Analyze, yeah. Analyze. Where did the question go? Hold on. I got a lot of. I like the word Venn diagram. Compare yourself with Goldilocks. Absolutely. Yeah, I can compare myself, JMM. My locks are as beautiful as Goldilocks. Yeah, may not be as handsome looking as her. Yeah, Shushma ma'am says analyze the Goldilocks and the bear's emotion. Fair enough. You're taking a lot of good words and you're really making good questions. And I hope this comes as a part of your examination. Oh, Akila ma'am, I love that. Compare your mom's reaction to Goldilocks' mom. Oh, I wonder what Goldilocks' mom would do. As long as she did not break things in her own house. But I love the way you all are thinking like mothers now. By the way, what would you do, Akila ma'am, if your son were to go and break things around? Yeah, I would love to hear that. Yes. Okay. So let's go and hear the questions around Goldilocks. No comments there, she says. He's done enough times now. Right. Okay. I'll go and ask your daughter there. By the way, analysis. Let's go to the my. That's what we did. Compare Goldilocks to any of your friends. Is Goldilocks like you? You know, there's so many things you can ask from a story a child will love to share. Should Goldilocks have entered the home without permission? A very standard question that you all already told me, but fair enough. Let's go to the last two of Goldilocks, and hopefully that would be the end of what we're doing. Evaluation. Compare and discriminate between ideas. You are juggling, you are judging now, you're making choices, and that would be interesting. These are the two areas, evaluation and synthesis. Most of us don't go. You know, when we prepare a question, we don't go there. And this is where I'm pushing you. And the fact that all of you are participating so wholeheartedly, I trust me, I'll be very happy if your next question paper has these paper. You know, words like appraise, words like argue, words like assess, attach, choose. Sometimes we are very, we're very guilty that we think, oh, it's only the IB curriculum that prepares a child. No, it's a teacher who prepares a child. And while the curriculums are commendable, it's you with your knowledge, and with these words you can make any question. So I get it, right? Do you think Goldilocks is a well-mannered girl? Why or why not? Yes. You are appraising, you're arguing. Fair enough. Estimate the loss. I like that. I like the word. It's a calculative answer. It's a mathematical question. The loss that Goldilocks caused to the bears. I like that question. Can you prepare something with the word prepare? Make a question with the word prepare. How do you go to the word prepare for Goldilocks? Prepare something. I've repeated the word prepare. Okay, the best character in the story. Why? Okay, that's interesting. You might do an evaluation on it. Compose a poem or a song. Oh, that's interesting. Prepare a list of to do next time. I like that. Write the recipe of the porridge. Oh, wonderful, Tasneem ma'am. I bet you are a wonderful chef for that matter. But that's good. That's good. You know, even if life was in danger, I could not write a recipe for porridge. I can know masala oats that Safola gives you. So these are some great questions out there. Right, Sonali ma'am, prepare the things Goldilocks should not have done. So argue, one of the questions that you said, argue that Goldilocks was not wrong in entering the house. Now this is a good question, isn't it? You are arguing on behalf. Why always ostracize the poor girl? Maybe she was scared. Prepare a video. Yes, Zaina ma'am, you can do that. People blame Goldilocks for barging into Bear's house. How do you defend yourself? Yeah, right. You know, I have my cousin in South Africa, Durban, and he says, you protect yourself. That's what the South African says. If your house is open, don't blame the thieves. It's an interesting analogy. So there you are, Jaya ma'am. Nehaya ma'am, yes, assess the situation. If Goldilocks were to seek permission, should she have sought permission? Like the Arab says, 3 times and you go back home? Or prepare the movie story with a different twist. All right, maybe, who knows, Goldilocks adopts the bear baby, as one of the stories in Red Riding Hood we did that. So you can do so many of the questions around that. Great, great. I like the way you all are thinking. You already are thinking a higher order thinking skill. So let me go to my last slide in the theory part of it. I don't know if you have time for a quiz that I have prepared after the session, but hopefully anyone won't stay back. Let's go to synthesis. Putting things together. What are the things we can do together? Old ideas to create new ones. Given facts, can you make a better one? All right, Shivasa, you can do a puppet show. Let me give you the words for synthesis, and hopefully you'll make it better. You already showed a lot of synthesis. A song, a story, a newspaper, maybe. I like the newspaper, by the way. Let's make a word with the first word, arrange. How would you use the word arrange in something which is synthesis? A very higher order thinking skill. Go ahead. Arrange. You know, sometimes you think synthesis is very tough. All you need to do is arrange, maybe the story in the right format. Maybe you ask, if Goldilocks was in today's time, right? Absolutely, Smriti ma'am, in the right sequence. Or you can do create. Create is a much better word for synthesis, for that matter. If Goldilocks was in today's time with a mobile in her hand, how would she think about it? Arrange, how she could have done the things in the right way. Absolutely. I love the way you all are participating. You are looking at the answers. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Swiggy it. Oh, that's nice, Shabana ma'am. I love your sense of pun intended. Right. She can swiggy things around. Or she can do pepper fry for the furniture she has broken around it. Arrange a different alternative ending. Didn't we do it so many times in a school? Well, we can do that. Propose. Can you use the word propose? What's the key word for propose, by the way?
Please.
How would you propose something? A different ending is a good word for propose. Let me show you the kind of words I have got. Propose, another name for the story. Yes, we've done that so many times. Right. So here is what I have given you. Okay. Propose a set of guidelines for missing children information. You know, when a child is lost, there's Goldilocks was a lost child. She was searching for a home. She was searching for a shelter. So now you're making a child think about the lost children. Oh, that could be a very deep question. You know, it could be SDG goal number 10, reduce inequalities where children of no country, children where countries are in civil war, like in Syria, like in Somalia. You know, you can take a deep, darker conversation ahead, especially if they're a little higher order, you know, grade 9 and 10. Propose a set of safety measures. Absolutely, Jaya ma'am. You know, what could you do in emergency? Suggest, create a poster where Goldilocks is missing. And I would love to see that. You're using the word draw also, but you're creating a poster where it says missing girl. What would the age of the girl be? You know, and imagine it's a collaborative activity. You're making a class, create a poster. Someone's good at drawing. I'm sure the only thing that they'll do with the golden hair, they'll write the girl's name, they'll write a possible age, 9 years, 12 years, 7 years, maybe. You know, they will write Sherwood Forest or Vrindavan Forest or Sanjay Gandhi National Park where she got lost, something around that. Zenith ma'am, prepare a rescue operation. All right, Goldilocks is now with grizzly bears. How do you rescue her? Interesting. Yes, Shabna ma'am, arrange the steps in the correct order. Generating electricity? Well, it's not dark yet, but fair enough. It could be something else. But this is what Bloom's taxonomy is all about. Well, I'm sure we had fun with Goldilocks. I hope Goldilocks goes safely to her mother. I hope the bears are good friends. I hope we are a little more sympathetic to a mischievous girl who has lost her way. And yes, this is what our entire story is about. It's a 1 hour session, and I hope you enjoyed. I hope I was able to convey enough with Bloom's taxonomy. Thank you so much, Sonali ma'am. So these are the 6 levels of Bloom's. I would really be so excited and glad if you let me know when you prepare a question. It helps you in preparing a question, having conversation with your children. Thank you, all of you, for sharing these wonderful pointers from all of you. It means a lot with some of my role models and mentors. When the principals of some great schools here, when they tell you thank you, it's really, really at a level of synthesis. And all of you, this is what we do. A good teacher makes you think even when you don't want to. So I hope I made you think. Thank you, all of you. Absolutely, Jaya ma'am, Zainab ma'am, Fatima ma'am. It was fun. As I always say, the presentation is yours for the taking. Just drop a WhatsApp to me or a message, an email to me. Please, I will put the recording also online, and I will also share a link for the questions. You don't have to. Some of you, I already know you. You're on my first name basis. So I will send the presentation to you right there. Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you next month again with a new educator, a new presentation, and some new learnings. So on that note, everybody, please drop a message for the presentation. I think the chat would be disabled, so you will not be able to, I'll not be able to retain the chats. Just drop me this at this email or my mobile number if you're on a creative classroom there. And until then, thank you so much. Bye-bye. And hope to see you again next month with a new educator. See you all.